Hi everyone, and welcome to this Ascension 101 video with me, Lovisa Alvtörn of Ascension with Lovisa. And this is a series where we talk about spiritual subjects in a way that makes it easy to understand, even if you're an Ascension newbie. So everything's new for you with the vocabulary, ideas, and concepts of the spiritual world, really. And today the subject is spiritual sovereignty. And I have the lovely Tim Wilde here with me. Welcome, Tim.
Good morning, Lovisa. Hi, everybody.
And Tim and I did several videos before on this channel, but for anyone who doesn't know you yet, Tim, would you please give a short introduction of yourself?
Yay, thank you. Yeah, I'm Tim Wilde. I work with the Ascension process, and I'm based in Dorset in the United Kingdom, and very much kind of been looking at what is going on this planet and the best way to navigate it from a spiritual perspective for quite some time now. So it's I think I've got a fairly good grasp on what's happening and how to deal with that.
Yeah, you sure do. So and who am I?
Yeah,
I'm a light code activator, energy anchor, divine channel. That's what they're calling me now suddenly, an ascension guide. And I have a strong connection to the Atlantean energies, just like you, Tim.
Yeah.
As well as the Norse ones. And I'm living and working from the heart of the Old Norse kingdom here in Uppsala, Sweden.
You are in a very powerful spot, actually, Lovisa.
Yeah.
You are. It is a gateway.
Yes, definitely.
A wonderful gateway.
Mm-hmm. So, Tim, today we're speaking of a topic that is popping up almost everywhere at the moment in spiritual environments, sovereignty.
Yeah.
And so we see and hear this word a lot. And I'm calling, I've said already, spiritual sovereignty now, as this is on a soul level more than anything that we mean, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the word sovereignty started becoming very popular last year when we kind of went into a state of planetary lockdown, and all of a sudden we're being presented with situations which are challenging our sovereignty. You know, on a surface level, we all know that there was a lot of people believe that there was good reasons to do the things that we did, but also underneath, for those of us who can see, for those of us that are not plugged into the matrix anymore, we can see very clearly that there is a collective effort to undermine the sovereignty, not just spiritual but physical sovereignty of the majority of human beings on the planet. So all of a sudden, the subject is it's a hot topic. Everybody's talking about it, and because it's there, it's tangible, it's real, it's in our reality, and it's something that if we'll be talking about it this morning. You've got two choices: you can claim your sovereignty, or you can not claim it. But there's two very different outcomes depending on which choice that you make.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And so this word, to me, since English is not my first language, and this is an interesting thing. I'm going to say this right away, that even if you don't, like, with your mind understand a word completely, because even what we're saying today, some things might be difficult for if you're completely new in your spiritual path. But never underestimate your heart's ability to understand the energy beneath the words. So that's one thing. It's come up very strongly for me recently. So you may have a feeling for what something means without being able to put it into words. Yeah. And also, not to mention the light codes that are embedded in what we're saying here.
Absolutely. A lot of the words that we use and a lot of the scenarios that we describe have a tendency to trigger those dormant or latent light codes within your field. So as you're speaking, the resonance of it, a lot of the time the human mind doesn't necessarily have to understand so much of where we are. It's a case of just simply trusting the fact that if you're guided to something, if something's resonating with you, then it is the right thing for you to be doing.
So simply trusting.
Trust.
Not easy.
It's a big thing to ask of everybody at the moment, Lovisa, to trust, because on one side, we've got people like you, people like me, the Intergalactic Council, the angels, everybody saying trust the process, we're exactly where we're supposed to be. And on the other side of it, in the reality that we're integrating with, every single one of our survival buttons is being pressed.
Yeah.
So we're like, what's going on? Oh, well, I've got trust. and we're kind of like bouncing between these two realities. And
also trusting your own heart, because we're so used to, like, it's our mind that has to lead us. It is.
I mean, the integration of mind and heart is one of the biggest challenges on the ascension pathway, because the two are very separate usually. So I think the two working together is quite unique.
So for me anyway, since this word has started to show up everywhere, and it was a while ago, so I checked the dictionary definition of it.
What is the dictionary?
I did have a feeling for, like I said, I had a feeling for what it meant, but I wanted to know like more. You know, so it says sovereignty is supreme authority within a territory. Can't even speak. So supreme legitimate authority. And it's a lot about like a political term. In any state, sovereignty is assigned to the person, body, or institution that has the ultimate authority over other people in order to establish a law or change an existing law.
Yeah.
So, but then you also have synonyms. And I feel like, of course, they don't mean exactly the same thing, but you have autonomy, freedom, independence, liberty, self-governance.
Yeah.
And so this is we're talking about this in spiritual terms, so it's from an individual viewpoint.
It's, the dictionary definition will always be very different from the actual, what we'd call almost God's law. If you start Google searching sovereignty and looking for what is the spin-offs of the word and everything, you'll be led very much to kind of like the common law or God's law and the laws that exist within the land of every society on this planet. And this is where it starts beginning to get interesting, because what we're being presented with in the outside world is almost like it's like assaulting the castle gates. It's like, right, okay, the sovereignty here is us. Okay, we are sovereign beings in our right, and everything that we're being told that we must do by the 3D matrix is asking us to hand over our sovereignty for a greater cause. And of course, this is now the decision that people are making. You know, what do I do? Do I hand over my sovereignty because I'm being called to do so by a higher power or an authority, which is, again, this is people we're talking about, or do I stand in my sovereignty, the God's law, my bodily autonomy that has been gifted to me upon choosing this human vessel on this planet? Interesting place to be.
I definitely felt the difference just a few days ago. Someone who's close to me said to me, because we think and feel differently about something at the moment, and he said, well, don't you want to do what our authorities tell us to do? And that's when I felt, no, we don't have the same authority. We're not talking about the same thing. Like, this is my authority right here. So I could feel that split between 3D and 5D. That was so clear that we can't communicate.
No, that is the reality. This is what's causing so many people this conflict or stress at the moment, is that many light workers, like the lovely souls, those of you that are tuning in and listening to this at the moment, will most likely have experienced exactly this on some level over the last year or so, the last 18 months or so, or might well be experiencing it in the now moment, this conflict of realities. And the conflict might not be the best term is that, I mean, like, these two realities coexist with each other at the moment, and it's almost like, the way I've seen it, is an extraction process. We are simply detaching our permission, or removing our permission for that reality to govern us.
So I see, like, they've been connected, but now they're separating, like more that you can really see them.
Like a Venn diagram, like they're all kind of interlinked with each other. And the more we stand in our light and in our power, the more they separate, until you are looking from an outside perspective at this TV show of a reality that's occurring around you. And it's up to you how you interact with it, how much energy you give to it, how much power you allocate to it. And this is really where the subject of spiritual sovereignty really starts to come into its forte, if you see what I mean. It's for those of us that have made the decision, there is no kind of bartering with the sovereignty that we're talking about. That once you've accepted the mantle of your spiritual authority, your sovereignty, or your, call them autonomous rights, your God's law or whatever, you don't flex on those in any way, shape or form. So you have a conversation like the one you've just described, and it's Mars and Venus. They're two totally different conversations. They don't interact. There's no, you can understand it, but it's a case of accepting somebody else as part of their consciousness as being theirs, and just going, I'm sorry, but that's not for me.
Yeah, because I've been also, because one thing here is that you might feel that you need to convince others of your viewpoint. And that's not always because that could be the will of the choice of their soul to continue in the old, right?
Very much so. A lot of people waste a lot of time and energy attempting to get people to see. And you can make it your full-time vocation if you want to spend all your time on social media trying to school people in how to think, but a lot of them, they don't want to at the moment. That's not where they are. So
I mean, of course you can share, of course it's good to share your truth.
Absolutely, you share your truth.
Not go on and on about it if they don't get it.
Yeah. There's so much time that's gone into arguing about who's right, and that is just, it's not an effective use of our time at the moment. Like you say, you share information, you plant the seeds, but the most powerful way to embody your sovereignty is to live by it, and then that energetic example is a beacon for other people to rise to. That's very much how all of this kind of spiritual field stuff works, is if you're strong and anchored in it, and you're shining it and you're living by it, then it becomes a point of aspiration for other people to follow that light, to follow that lead. So that's another thing. That's another very strong point about I call it being anchored into sovereignty, or being anchored into your beliefs, like your heart-based belief system. What is driving you through this ascension process, be you a newbie or be you seasoned in the field. It's that anchoring.
And now I'm just hearing it, so they're repeating in my head, my guides, so I don't forget fear. I mean, you may feel fear to express your truth.
Yeah, it's a big initiation, and it's something which you can't. It's easy for somebody like myself to say to people, just speak your truth. If I was sat on my perch going, speak your truth, without really experiencing the fallout that can occur in people's lives, you've got to be very nurturing with people that are in a situation where they're having to speak their truth for the first time, because it is life-changing. That time where you stand in your own power and speak your truth as a sovereign being, the world around you will change to match that set of circumstances that you're setting the boundaries for. big changes. So it's something that people like me and you and those that have stepped up as kind of guides and teachers have got to be very kind of like, so, you know, gentle and circumstantial, where sometimes you just got to stand up and do it. And it's one of the most powerful acts that you'll ever embark upon.
And embody it. That's also another word that I've heard. Embody your freedom, embody your truth, like embody your sovereignty.
Big time.
But also the fear may also be actually from previous lifetimes where you did speak your truth and you were punished for it, right? So very brutally punished.
Absolutely. Well, this all started in the good old days of the fall of Atlantis, where as of the Atlanteans that left Atlantis to go and basically set up camp in other regions of the world, it sounds bizarre to actually have agreed to do it, but to stay on Earth and be part of the 3D experience for the next 10,000 years, we weren't allowed to use the capacity or the power of our throat chakras to the level that we were used to using them, because it would shatter the formation of the 3D matrix. It's, you know, when you get somebody who can use that power, that sovereignty, that truth, that expression of that, the 5D throat expression, including the sound, the healing and the words, that has such an effect on everything around it that it had to be contained in order for the 3D experience to be so effective for 10,000 years. So we got collared, basically. We had collars energetically placed around our necks at the fall, so that when we went out into the world, say Egypt or South America or Tibet or wherever we went to, we still had our memories and you know, like the what remained of our magic, but without the power. We took this step down from 12 chakras to 7 chakras, and the 7 chakras were a very, very limited version of what we had previously.
It's giving me chills now. You're speaking it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was. I mean, many, you know, I've spoken about this before, and people said, well, why would we have agreed to that? Because that was part of the plan. You know, Earth had to spend 10,000 years in 3D. And in order to do that, you couldn't have like super powerful people running around the planet throwing their magic around. Everyone's got to be on the level playing field. So that was that.
So that's something, if you recently woke up, this is something that you might need to remove. Like you notice that you need to clear your throat. Not clear your throat, like but your throat chakra.
Yeah.
A lot of healing.
Massive process, and it doesn't just come all up. I mean, it might do if you're lucky. Now the collars just fall off, but for people like me, it took best part of a decade, layer after layer after layer coming off, sort of thing. And so it was very cleverly kind of a little bit like the veils of the third eye. It's like a veil or a restriction around the throat chakra, but once it's removed, the words that you speak carry the power of the 5th dimension, and they have the ability to change and alter everything around you. So words, you know, like words are spells at the end of the day. As you speak, you cast. So then but presented from a 5th dimensional throat chakra without restrictions, they are very, very powerful. You know, they can programs and everything that is from the spoken word is becoming more powerful now. Far more powerful than we could have ever really previously imagined that they would be.
I'm also thinking about other lifetimes later on, like where you were actually killed if you were. Because a lot of us light workers, we have had those lifetimes, and we did stand up for the light and our truth, but that would, you know, they would imprison us or kill us, burn you
immediately.
Stake,
I mean, it's been a planet where, particularly, I mean, you know, I'll say this quite happily, if you incarnated as a woman in the last 10,000 years, you can pretty much guarantee you'd have had a lifetime where that restriction on your throat chakra would have actually come in very handy, because, like, you know, if you spoke out of turn, in whatever society you lived in, like you're saying, you're standing up or you're speaking your truth or you're defending your integrity, you'd be punished for it. So it's been not just from the throat chakra, it's been ground into our DNA as well. The whole cellular memory, all of this is being released at the moment as we free ourselves.
Yeah.
We go and step back into our sovereignty again.
Yeah. But so to say that we really do understand if you feel fear, anyone listening, but because that's something and it's coming up for you to heal it and to release it and it to be able to do that, it has to come up to the surface. So that's natural.
Yeah, it's very natural to be experiencing in real time the emotional ranges that are being presented. And it's not bad to have these triggers. It's very useful to have these triggers because you can see where they're coming from. This is the beauty of shadow work. I know a lot of us dodge it as much as possible because it's bloody hard work, but you know, once you've cleared that shadow, it won't come back again. You don't have to relive the experience and the trauma. But because of the quantity of light that we've had coming in since the beginning of this year, I mean, we're approaching 9 months into the year now, amazingly. I mean, the ampage, the quality of light turned up so much at the winter solstice last year that the whole year this year has been spent revealing shadows. That's what it's been all about.
And so this year is 2021. I didn't even say what date it is. I mean, we're talking about 2021.
yeah, we're talking. So the whole of 2021 has been one massive kind of clearance operation. And of course, as soon as the shadows are revealed, it's not just the personal shadows, it's the shadows in society. So you can see who's running the show, really. You can see who's been running the show for the last 10,000 years, but has been doing it from a hidden position. Now they're visible. So, you know, this is where we are.
And also, I've given the definition from the dictionaries and saying that that's not what we mean, but what do we actually mean then? How would you define sovereignty from a spiritual perspective?
Spiritual sovereignty is standing in your truth, your integrity, and your light as a physical vessel, as a representative of God. You know, like you are. When we incarnate on this planet, we are gifted. You look at yourself as, I mean, a lot of us haven't. We've been trained to think otherwise over the year, but the physical vessel is a gift. We choose that vessel. We equip that vessel with the tools and the knowledge and the navigational system that we need for our journey. But as soon as we land on the planet, in 3D, we were taught that physical vessel wasn't the important thing, and society was training us to hand the like, you know, almost like hand our faculties over so the physical vessel could be controlled. And we were told what to do with it. We were told how to program it. Every single little bit of information that came from the schools, from the TV, from the societies that we've been living in, have been to hand that sovereignty over, so that you are no longer an individual. You know, you're no longer an individual in control of your vessel. Sovereignty is claiming full God-given rights of your vessel, honoring it, loving it, standing in your truth, and basically rejecting anything that steps over the boundaries of that God-given sovereignty. That's the sovereign rights of a human being. So it's enshrined in the laws of the land in every single country on this planet, as well as the spiritual coding system, which is being activated very strongly within us. So where we are at the moment, it's almost like a battle of sovereignties. It's the unplugging from the matrix means that you are rejecting the sovereignty, the version of sovereignty that is presented to you by the controlling systems, and you're reclaiming the rights as an individual to stand in your truth, stand in your light, take your own decisions for your own bodily autonomy. And, you know, you choose what goes in there, you choose what you do, you choose how you act. But the most of the time, you know, and all the people are shrieking like, you can't do this. It's, you know, you're living selfishly, but you're not, because people that make choice from the heart, they can't live every choice that they make is for the higher good, for the higher good of themselves and the higher good of the planet around them. So it's very, very conflicting at the moment. It can be very confusing for people to claim that sovereignty, but ultimately it's having the rights that you were gifted when you came down to this planet, that you were given. Okay. Now, because
but also responsibility.
It's a lot of
comes with responsibility. And that's where I think that's one, actually, without realizing it, that can be one reason you don't step into it.
Yeah, it is. It's very
because it's easier to let someone else decide for you.
It's much.
If you feel like, but I'm not actually responsible, I can blame someone else.
Yeah,
that might sound like, maybe I sound mean. No, I don't know.
No. That's it. This is the nuts and the bolts of where we are. Without claiming responsibility for ourselves, there is no sovereignty. It's the sovereignty, and it's such a powerful mantle to adopt. Once you've claimed your sovereignty spiritually, once you've claimed that right, that authority here on planet Earth, there is absolutely nothing that can touch it. No man-made law, no man-made regulation, no governing bodies telling you what to do. It's unshakable. So all of a sudden, you've got a planet full of people waking up to their sovereignty. And this is what is unplugging everybody from the matrix. Because the matrix isn't about individual sovereignty, it's about control. So it's removing yourself from that control system and claiming your rights as a human being, a soul on Earth. But that can be any decision that you choose to make, providing that you are standing in your own sovereignty. The decision that you are making from your heart doesn't necessarily have to be in alignment with the other sovereign beings. It's a sovereign choice for you. This is what's so important, is that we make the decisions from our heart centers. That's ultimately what sovereignty really is. It's choosing from your heart what is the best thing for you and for those around you.
Here I'm thinking that responsibility might seem like, I don't know if I can embody, is what I'm hearing again, like, I don't know if I can really handle it, or what happens if I make the wrong choice. That's also a kind of a fear, and then it's like, it's easier to let someone decide for you. And another thing about it is that that's how it's been for 10,000 years. So it takes a little bit to like break free from that.
It's like one of the biggest
stepping in those footsteps.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest unpluggings that we will ever see, ever. We will ever experience on this planet. Where we are at the moment is utterly, completely unique. It's unique for our planet. It's unique for our learning plane. It's unique for the ascension process that we are experiencing. What we're doing is making a jump in a very, very short space of time at the moment. We're going from 3D to 5D in 20 years. That's not been done anywhere before. Okay, if you go, say you take the Syrian learning planes, which the majority of them are 7th dimensional, they've been through the same process that we've been through. They've gone from physical to non-physical, and in order to do so, they've been through an ascension process. But those ascension processes in other parts of the universe, the souls that we connect with and that we work with on a day-to-day basis, the galactics, their processes went on for a lot longer. So they would have gone through what we're going through over hundreds of years rather than 20 years. What's unique about our process is the fact that A, we're retaining our physical bodies for the experience, and B, we're doing it in a really, really short space of time. So 20 years to make this jump. So we're traversing all of these things in record time, and and that's why there's so many of us as masters that have incarnated at the moment to suddenly wake up and claim sovereignty and steer it all in the right direction before it all goes wonky. And so that's exactly where we are right now.
And that we're doing it in the physical, that explains why I'm getting the word embody so much. Also, we need to embody it. Embody.
And that's exactly what I've been knocked out of kilter for the last 2 weeks as well. It's, unless you are honoring what you are, for me particularly, Like I'm there twice a week giving out spiritual information on Facebook, on YouTube, and it suddenly occurred to me that I'm telling people to do things that I'm not doing myself, because I was never giving myself a break. I was never having any downtime. You know, I suddenly thought back, when was the last time I actually claimed some time for myself? And I'm talking years.
Oh.
You know, not weeks or months. I'm talking years. And all of a sudden my body stopped me, and I had to stop. I had to honor it. And that real subject of sovereignty came up, that honoring myself and moving into that space and being with myself and learning about what's actually happening, rather than just the incessant driving forwards. So that's a big thing for people, and any of you that are listening at the moment. The changes around you are so intense. If you need that time out, step out. Do not, you know, the ascension process isn't going to collapse without you. It will continue.
And you won't miss something, because I had a feeling of missing out.
Yeah, you get, it's like not going to a party because you like something's happened, you've missed your cab or you're poorly or something like that, and you feel like you're completely missing out, and you're going to miss the best night ever, sort of thing.
But I know when I was just waking up, I felt I needed to do like all of your workshops and Diana's workshops, and like if I didn't do them, I would be missing out on something. I would be left behind.
Exactly. You know? It's a very, very common thing to feel, actually, because a lot of the time it's but you can overload yourself very easily that way as well. It's as you know, Lovisa, you know, you can, when you integrate, you have to have the time to process. And if you don't have that time to process, then you crash until you do process it. It's taking this light in. You know, we talk about it and it feels good at the time, but then you do have to go for the inevitable process of actually integrating it and embodying it and acting upon the instructions that have been lit up within your bodies and your fields. Again, sovereignty, listening to the instructions within your light fields. Interesting stuff.
And also realizing that, like, it's actually more, of course you can go to all these workshops. It's great. I offer workshops too. I'm not telling people not to come or to join, but it's like you don't have to attend all of them. You're not going to miss out on anything. Do what calls you, and if you need a break, you need a break. You're doing a lot of the work internally in your own healing, your own inner, like listen to your own guidance here.
Yeah, very much.
Right?
Very much.
Yeah. So, but I wanted to ask also how it was during Golden Atlantis, what sovereignty meant. Is it the same as you've been?
The sovereignty of Golden Atlantis is very much the sovereignty that we're embodying now.
Yeah.
It's an activation of the sovereignty gold print, which we're feeling so powerfully within us. Is that, you know, honoring the earth, honoring ourselves, honoring those around us, honoring the animals, but standing very much the sovereignty that the Golden Atlanteans stood by as a sovereign is the same as the sovereignty that we're standing with now. I'm not saying standing under, that's a 3D term. Standing with grace, intention, manifestation, karma, responsibility, unconditional love. Put them together, the law of one. So this is the sovereignty that we're operating within the boundaries of this new reality. It's powerful stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going back to someone maybe feeling like, how can I embody my own sovereignty? How can I, maybe you're not sure about your own truth even. Maybe you're not used to listening to your heart, because that's all you have to do, right? It's not something that you can with your mind figure out what I should do, but so my guides were telling me that for all of our senses, like if you see or hear whatever, that it all flow through the heart, like that they all go through the heart. So that actually, if you feel a fear of, am I going to be able to make the right choices for me? That what you need to do is to maybe rediscover the voice of your heart, or how to listen to your heart?
I've been saying this for a little while now because of the quantity of conflicting information that is available out there at the moment. You know, you'll be told one thing by one group, you'll be told another thing by another person. Then you might hear something completely different on the news, and immediately you are in a state of flux because you don't know what resonates with you the most. You're being overloaded, you're being saturated by all of these different expressions. It's at that point that you take your question or your scenario into your heart center and you ask your heart, what is the best thing for me? What do you want me to do? And your heart will guide you. It's at that point that those instructions will become very concise, very clear. It doesn't matter what the outside, the conflicting information is. What your heart says goes. Once your heart's in the driving seat, nothing else matters. That's where you go. You get driven where you are supposed to be going by the consciousness of your heart center, because your heart is sovereign. Yeah. It's that's it really simplifies the process if you take out all of the clutter around you and just listen to the voice of your heart, not somebody else's heart. It doesn't matter what anybody else's heart is saying, what your heart is saying, and just truly take that information in. And it shuts the mind up as well, because you've got the mind like in the background kind of telling you all of these different things. Sai Baba used to call it the monkey mind, and the monkey mind is like it chatters and whitters on, and it sits on your shoulder like bah, 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 like that, going 1,000 miles an hour. As soon as you take your information into the heart, all of the distractions cease. Everything calms down, everything becomes pure, clear and quiet, and you'll get your answer. Doesn't matter if it's not immediately, because it will most likely be presented to you via the universe in some way or another. You might see a number plate, you might see a sign at the road, somebody in the street might come up and give you some information that you know is the response and the answer that you're looking for. So it's
that's important. Also, you might not know right away if someone is, or the authorities trying to make you do something and you're not sure, then wait, go back. If you're not sure if this is this right for me, is that really what my heart is telling me to do? Then exactly. Because that can be hard with the pressure of everyone around you.
Particularly at the moment, particularly with the very unique set of circumstances that is, well, they're not unique, because everything that we're experiencing at the moment happened at the fall of Atlantis. It's a recreation. It's a recreation that has been designed and set up for us to clear. So everything that we're being presented with that's triggering us at the moment was present at the fall of Atlantis. So it's the biggest shadow that you could possibly want to clear. It's in our reality at the moment. The way forward is through the heart. Heart sovereignty.
I was thinking when you said trigger, that anyone listening, you might feel like you're triggering people also with what you say, and that's not, and remember that that's not a bad thing. Right? Like everyone gets triggered by me. That was a while ago. What did I even say to make this person act like this? And then my main guide, who's Archangel into Metatron. Let me show the cards since I have it here.
Yay!
It's from Diana Cooper's new Archangel deck.
Beautiful deck, isn't that?
But he was like, it's not a bad thing that you're triggering them. That's like igniting something. That is the kind of spark, and you don't know what's going to happen later with this. They keep thinking about it. It might be the start of something.
Very much so. Very much so.
Now,
I do believe that you've written some rather beautiful mantras.
I was thinking to help people.
Now, a good portal or a good way into the heart is to repeat, and a good way of getting things into your bodies, your fields, and your system is to mantras. And it's almost like a command to self and to the universe. So,
I tried to write a decree. That's more your thing.
Decrees are very powerful. Decrees are effectively, it's cosmic alchemy, because the second you write a decree, you are commanding a change, and that change will occur. And once you've decreed a set of circumstances around you, the whole universe will reform itself to, and quite often, like, you'd be like, I didn't order that. Well, yeah, you did. You decreed it. So a decree and a mantra are very, very different things. A mantra is something that just changes the internal dialogue and the alchemy of self, so that you can start.
It's almost like a friend that you can have with you, like to help support you and remind you, empower you.
Very much so.
So that's something, if you're feeling you need support, if you're worried or whatever, just to have it like on repeat in your head.
Yeah, absolutely.
It does feel very empowering. Yeah.
It is empowering.
Or
self-empowerment is sovereignty. Definitely.
So yeah, should we, if I read it and you read after me, Tim?
Absolutely.
So that everyone, because I just finished writing this before we started recording, Tim and I, today. So I'm not able to put it up on the screen now, but I'll put it as a comment to the video.
Yeah, definitely. I'm ready when you are. I think they're beautiful.
So I'm calling it a mantra for stepping into your sovereignty.
Yes.
Okay. So I am the master of my life.
I am the master of my life.
I am here to embody my freedom.
I am here to embody my freedom.
I allow my heart to speak.
I allow my heart to speak.
To rediscover my truth.
To rediscover my truth.
I step out into the world.
I step out into the world.
As a sovereign being of the light.
As a sovereign being of the light.
I am the master of my life.
I am the master of my life.
I am here to embody my freedom.
I am here to embody my freedom.
I allow my heart to speak.
I allow my heart to speak.
And always honor my truth.
And always honor my truth.
I step out into the world.
I step out into the world.
As a sovereign being of the light.
As a sovereign being of the light.
So whenever you need to repeat it, keep it in your mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, mantras are so powerful, Lovisa. It completely reprograms that internal dialogue and brings that energy. I am are two of the once you said I am, whether it's I am the monad or I am the master of my life, you are claiming that sovereignty. That it's a command, and your higher self will respond to it. So it's
like you're really strengthening the connection with your higher self. Also,
very much
monad.
So.
I don't know if everyone understands the word monad.
Monad is your collective soul, all of the personalities, and basically come together, and you are attached to that very strong. It's like your umbilical cord. So, say for example, another powerful one that I use all the time is I am my highest self. Keep saying that, and you are your highest self, because your highest self becomes you, and embodying that energy is that simple. Claiming that sovereignty of being your highest aspect of you. It's a lot simpler than we believe it is. What's tricky is unprogramming what we've been convinced to believe over thousands and thousands of years of powerlessness. We're not powerless at all. We're incredibly powerful. And one of the greatest fears of the 3D matrix is that we realize that, and we have. So it's tough.
I'll share my latest one also then, when I'm going to show this one. That is so with this one, my mantra is just I am the flame of freedom.
I am the flame of freedom.
It is my flame, right? So that's yeah, goes well with today's subject.
It does.
Wow.
I think covers some very, very succinct, very interesting subjects at the moment, particularly about what, you know, where we are at the moment, the visa, and what's coming at us at all sides.
There's so much more that we could say. And one thing that I know that's being used to kind of, I feel it's being used, it's tricking people. And that is the word solidarity.
Yeah.
That you should show solidarity. And that's really, that does speak to your heart. And
yeah,
but it can be used for the wrong, you know.
Everything can be inverted. This is what was so noticeable about the 3D matrix, is that a lot of the majority of things that we regard as sacred and we know are sovereign and heartfelt have been turned upside down and used the wrong way, inverted. So it's a realm of inversions that once you remove yourself from, you can see these inversions and would never participate with them again in that manner. But you can see why it's so easy to be inverted in that way. It's because of the level of the programming was so intense, and the connections to the matrix were so intense. It's interesting stuff.
Yeah, because at least here in Sweden, solidarity, that's really, if you're not showing that, you're really bad.
Oh yes, yeah.
You know?
It's the same thing that's being used globally. You know, like the slogan in the UK is "We are all in it together." It's like, no, you're all in it together, and the billionaires are having a wonderful time, sort of thing. That's not solidarity. That's an inversion of solidarity. That's an illusion.
And also why it really speaks to our hearts, and it's because then Archangel Metatron told me that, okay, so solidarity is actually like it's like a 3D version of the unity consciousness.
Yeah. So
that you will act from like the highest good of everyone, and that's kind of what they're using.
Exactly. But we know that now, so you don't have to participate in it.
But so I'm sure people may have more questions. You're welcome to, I know, Tim, they can find you through your website.
Yeah, timwild.com, or my email is tim@timwild.com. But it's and my spelling is wild, WHILD.
I will put everything in the description of the video, and also, of course, like you mentioned, you're on Facebook doing videos a week with a lot of guidance.
As soon as I finish here, I'm uploading my Friday video, which is talking again. I mean, we've touched upon stuff that I'm talking about this morning in the video as well, and you know, Mondays is a meditation, and Fridays is more of me rambling on in the woods, like whittering on about whatever comes to my mind at the time, sort of thing. You know, what I've been seeing for the last week or so. But it usually kind of like gets together in a compatible format.
And for anyone who doesn't have Facebook, I think you put them.
I'm on YouTube now as well. Yeah, I've reactivated my YouTube account. So I've got Facebook and YouTube, and the videos are uploaded to my website at the end of every month as well.
Yeah, so there are several places you can find them.
Yeah, 3 places. Hunt me down.
And also, of course, you can put comments to this video, and I'll put also how you can get in touch with me.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Tim.
Thank you, Lovisa. Absolutely lovely to see you this morning and to work with you as well. So,
yes,
and lots of love to everybody who's tuning.
Lots of love to everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.